Welcome to the Solid Switch Podcast. I'm your host, Julian. I'm here with Sam, and I'm here with Trail. How y'all boys doing today?
Man, I feel great, man. It's a beautiful Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Night, afternoon, it's pretty night. It gets dark around
night,
5 o'clock now, so it's night now.
Yeah, that daylight
I'm
savings.
good. Exactly. But it's crazy. It hit me like, it be getting dark at like 4:30. I don't know about you guys. It'd be like 4:30. It'd be like pitch black outside.
Oh, yeah. Right when you walk outside, it's dark. Right after you get off work, it's dark outside.
It'd be dark. I'll be driving home from work. It'd be like 5 o'clock. I'm like, God damn, bro. What time is it? Like 8:30?
Yeah. Definitely. Hey, how's that weather treating y'all boys? How's that weather treating you, Trail, in Tennessee? How's that weather?
It's been cold, very cold. I got sick multiple times. I lost my voice last. You heard me last week. I lost my voice and everything.
You lost your voice right after the last podcast. It was gone for a couple of days.
I sound like Winnie the Pooh, bro, for 2 days straight. Right? It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it's cold here.
How about that weather in Sam? How's that weather in Florida, Sam?
Yeah, it's starting to get a little colder, bro. It's like in the low 50s, man. So,
50s.
Like going crazy, man. And wow.
Definitely. I know y'all hold the whole state of Florida is going to emergency right now in the state of Florida, just on 50 degrees. I don't know how to act.
Guard coming in now, so
yeah.
So doing 50 degrees is like damn near snowing, man.
Yeah. It was 40 in North Carolina today.
Really?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Does it snow a lot in North Carolina, Julian?
Yeah, it really slows. It don't really snow until maybe January, February, March. During this time, like November, December, it just was really cold. So come this spring, it's gonna start snowing. Hopefully, I like the snow, but not that black ice.
Nah, I hate that. That's how it is here in Tennessee. Black ice is deadly, bro. Like I see so many wrecks for that happen. Like people just freaking little ditches on the side of the road and stuff. They don't fell into it, cars and stuff, multiple cars.
That's crazy.
It's dangerous stuff like ice, man.
Definitely. I don't know if y'all can relate to black ice in Florida. Y'all might just relate to a puddle or something. A puddle of water.
Ice puddle.
Ice puddle.
It's a deadly mist that comes around, bro.
Ooh. Does it get foggy in Florida?
Not so much in Jacksonville, but I've been down in Orlando, and there'd be times where I couldn't see nothing. Like it was zero visibility. So
definitely. What about Nashville, Trey? Y'all get a lot of fog?
Fog? I guess I don't know. Like a lot, it falls sometimes. It rains and it's really humid here. So if you ever come to Nashville, just know especially during the summertime, it's gonna be very, very humid. You're gonna sweat a lot. It's not like a dry heat. Like Alabama is more like a dry heat. Here in Nashville, it's really thick and wet when it get hot, man. I hate it. So I love Nashville though. It's all right.
Yeah, when y'all if you guys ever come to North Carolina, right now, what we're dealing with is heavy fog. We wake up you can't even see right in front of you. The fog is so bad. So that's something that we deal with bad is that fog.
That's because y'all in the mountains, man. Y'all up in the mountains and stuff.
Where I live right now, we're between the mountains right here and then the beaches right there. So we're right between both. So we get a little bit of everything, which is nice. But then I don't like that cold weather that come from the mountains, but they get the snow up there. So
y'all get a lot of wild animal sightings, I don't like wildcats or anything like that.
Is that wild pets? You got a lot of deer.
I'm about to say deer.
You see wild pets.
I be seeing deer strolling around the freaking just backyards, people's backyards there. It'd be crazy. So who's doing this? I'm probably gonna get off topic, but anyways, we're doing this the mile run for the officer academy I'm in. And so he's running, and we started get to the trail, and now we start running. And I kid you not, 3 deers just popped out of nowhere and ran across the trail. I'm thinking the junk is like a freaking mannequin. I'm like, what the heck is that? And he just starts skipping by, oh shit.
Yeah. I'm just making sure, I don't know.
I think I saw a cougar once. I think. I don't know. Maybe it might have been a deer. I don't know. Could have been a deer from a distance. The big ass deer. Yeah. Y'all have what the fuck? What's it called? Jaguars down there?
No, we got Panthers.
You got Panthers. Definitely. So I don't know about all that wildlife. We get a little bit of wildlife. We get a couple of foxes here and there, but that's about it. Not too much stuff. But definitely, make sure y'all be on the lookout for those. What you call them, wild animals, Sam?
Yep.
Yeah, wild animals. So
beast, wild beast.
The wild beast. Definitely. So we're gonna get just kind of give you guys a recap real quick for our listeners who are listening. If it's your first time listening to Silent Switch podcast, last week we talked about what is Silent Switch. So give you guys a quick a little bit about it. Silent Switch is, we got the word silent. Silent means to move in silence, and then that switch means to turn that switch on. So whatever that switch is for you, to always keep it on, not get sidetracked by, it's kind of like really just keeping that tunnel vision and not letting nobody change their mind on what you want to do. Just keeping that silent switch on and constantly keep it going. Because we always say, right, we move in silence and we always keep that switch on. So definitely make sure y'all tune into that first episode. In that first episode, we just talked about what does success look like for us. We also talked about successful people that we admire, and also just quotes that we like to just kind of live by. And we also talked about just, do you feel like you're currently successful? I mean, we talked about that last week. And that was really interesting. I really enjoyed talking about that because, like we said before, the success looks different from each and every one of us, right? And then my favorite piece of last week, if you guys did not tune in, make sure we talked about those tips and strategies to be more successful that help us. And those are some tips that we shared. It's also some strategies that we shared. So definitely. What you guys think about that first episode, that Silent Switch? What you guys think?
Think about last week, man. Last week it was crazy because if you guys don't already know, it was our first ever podcast, legit ever. And we killed it. I feel like, I'm going to give ourselves a pat on the back with that, man.
Pat on the back. Yeah. Good job.
It was awesome how it came together. You know what I mean? It was just flowing naturally, man. I really enjoyed it. I don't watch that at least maybe a couple dozen times already, man.
It's couple dozen.
Watching for the first time yesterday, man. I was pretty excited with the energy we brought to the podcast.
Yeah. Just
for it being our first episode and everything.
Definitely. So our listeners got an opportunity to get a kind of quick recap. So, I know our listeners are thinking right now, who are these guys, right? Who are you? What are you interested in? What are you passionate about? Your career path, things like that. So definitely, we're going to jump right into it. So our topic is going to be talking about who we are, our passions and career paths. So definitely, we're going to hop right into it because I love to kind of get things started right here. So we're going to start with you, Terrell. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Oh, man, a little bit about me. So, for you guys that don't know, Latrell, last name is Lee. No relation to anybody with last name Lee, just my last name. But anyways, I was born and raised in the good city of Dothan, Alabama. And Julie can attest to that because he used to live there for 3 years.
Did that. Yes.
We call it the peanut capital of the world.
Peanut capital of the world.
That's our main export. If you ever want the peanuts or boiled peanuts, scrambled peanuts, roasted peanuts, filet peanuts, you know what I mean? Go to
you even want to see a peanut.
You want to see a peanut. You want to take a picture with a peanut statue? Go down to Dothan, man. They have a big ass peanut in the middle of our downtown with a top hat, man. It's not like the peanut, the little. The peanut man, the little can of peanuts. I forget the name of it, but it's a different top hat on that guy. So they're not related. But anyways, man, I grew up in Dothan, in a single parent home, which is me and my mom for a while. My dad, he wasn't around. I met him when I was 5, and then when I turned 8, he passed away. So I didn't really know the dude. So he was non-existent, to be honest with you. And then, I had my sister when I was 8. So after that, I became a big brother. It was just me, my mom, my sister for the longest. And when I got older, I want to say I really started getting into sports. That was a huge thing in my life for a while. When I was in 6th or 7th grade, man, in middle school, I really got active in sports. And it really helped develop me in that time frame in my life from age 11 to my early 20s. It came something, my drive, my passion in life is something I really tried to put my all into. We really try to excel at,
Definitely. That sports to do that for you. Sports to definitely do that for you.
It definitely will, man. I was just blessed that it gave me a sense of direction. A lot of people, especially like Julie, you test this, man. We know a lot of people, especially back home, they don't have no direction in life. They just going with the flow. They really don't know what they want to do, who they are, what they want to be. And they in their mid to late 20s, you know what I mean? I was blessed to have, fortunate to have sports that have be in my life at such a young age. It gave me a sense drive that gave me that feeling of meaninglessness. Like I mean something. When I was balling on the field, like I felt good about myself. I felt special.
That passion. Something passionate about.
Exactly. I didn't even understand what that really meant when I was a kid, but like as now as an adult looking back, like damn, like it really helped formulate me to the man I am right now. Yeah. So I'm really thankful for that. But like I said, I played sports throughout middle school, high school, football mainly, and it was I wasn't really focused on school at the time. Like I was getting good grades, but it wasn't my main concern. I was more focused on football. Like that was my goal, was to go to get a full ride scholarship to go play football, and then try to make it to the league. Like all the young black kids, that's our dream, right? Make it to the league. Yeah. That's how we're gonna support our families. That's how we're gonna make our mamas proud.
Yeah, mama big house, right? Get mama a house, or buy her first car, be that first round pick or something like that. Definitely.
Exactly, man. That was the goal, right? And so, like, I'm not a singer. I'm not a rapper. I can't dance anything like that. So football was my thing. Like, yo, if I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna be successful. This is the only way I can do it. You know what I mean? That's how I actually thought. And so I got a full ride scholarship here at TSU, Tennessee State University. That's how I ended up here in Nashville. And my first couple of years in Nashville, man, it was really formative for me because it really changed my perspective on my life. So I started dating my college girlfriend at the time, and she got me plugged into church, man, and I really found God in that space, man. I really started to find myself and find out, truly what my passions was. I started losing my passion for football. It's just a lot of stuff goes into that, but like I lost my drive and desire to play the sport. Like it just felt kind of meaningless to me, kind of purposeless to me. But after I found God, man, and really truly started to understand like who I was as a man, as a Christian, it truly changed my life, and it really has blessed me in a lot of ways. God has been my rock in a lot of ways, man. And, I feel like, I want to be here. I want to be in the place I'm at right now, around the people I'm around right now, and have the mindset I have right now without having that experience in college of, that campus ministry, doing all that stuff, man. It really made me a better leader, but a better dad, because I'm a father, and a better friend and a better man of faith. So I'm really, appreciative of that experience.
Definitely. I like how you, so I got a question for you before I question for you, Trell. Your best game when playing football, what was your best game ever? You had to get one game. Give me the stats. The tackles, the sacks. And okay. So let me hear it. The stats, sacks.
I'm trying to think. So I want to say it was my senior year, our first game of the season. And I can't remember who was playing. I want to say it was a Montgomery team. I know that much. It was a Montgomery team. I can't remember the name of them. Was it Jefferson County? It could have been Jefferson. Anyways, I had 2 sacks, a couple of TFLs. Ooh. I think it was like 7 or 8 tackles. I was feeling myself in that game too, man. I was like, what the? So I know I had to really do my thing my senior year. That was like my best game of the year too that year. So I remember, like, you guys just wouldn't wait. And I was like, man, I got to get full ride scouts for a T1 school, man. That's all I was thinking. Like, I was happy as hell for it. Like, man, I can't be left behind. So I'm like, I got to ball out this year, man. So that was, like, my best game, like, throughout my whole career. So, yeah.
Definitely. I like that. I understand completely. We always had that one game, right? If you played that sport, you got that one game, you just remember, like, yo, bro, I really balled out that game. And it gave you that confidence for maybe the season, or maybe it gave you that confidence just within yourself for that game, because you're like, if I ball out this game, I can ball out the next game. It can just keep on going, right? So it built that confidence for you. Definitely, Trell. So I like what you said, Trell. You talking about God and everything, and being able to have God be that foundation for you, and being able to build that relationship with Him. When you were a sophomore in college, and definitely having a sophomore or freshman in college, and being able to have that inspiration. You said you had your college girlfriend. She took you there, dude.
Yes, she did.
It was the best thing for you.
Well, like I said, bro, like, it was a blessing, but in disguise at the time, I didn't really want to be there. I was like, man, she's like, you like to go to Bible study with me? I'm like, I ain't trying to do this. I'm just trying to. I just want to start, talking to you more. All right, fine. Like, I'll go. Wednesday after practice, I ain't got nothing else to do. Why not? So I went a couple times, and and after I started like talking with the people that really started, interacting with them more, and really started to digest what they were saying, man. And it really hit me. Like I said, it changed my life. And a lot of people that switch, man, flipped that switch for me. And a lot of people that I met there, I'm still cool with to this day, man. It's still like, instrumental in my life.
Definitely. I could definitely relate to that. I have a similar story too as well. Same exact kind of similar story of just going to Bible study, freshman to sophomore, and just that switch going up. Like I hear something and like I never heard it before, and I'm like, wow, like okay, definitely. I definitely relate to that. So look, if you're an athlete and you play a sport, in college or high school, make sure that you start to, try to build a relationship with guys. Start to, do that. What they call it? FCA? What they call it? FCA? What they call it?
Yeah,
Athletes in Action, AIA. Join one of those right there, and just definitely start building that relationship and start. It definitely help you get through tough times while playing sports, tough times while with school, and just being able to lean on God would definitely help you get through, whatever you're going through. So definitely like that piece right there. So we're definitely going to jump into it, Sam, and we're going to ask you the same question. So definitely right here. So can you tell our listeners a little bit more about who you are, Sam? And definitely want to hear a little bit more about you.
Yeah, of course. So, I was born in Huntsville, Alabama. I was born like right near Space Station.
Bama boy.
Yeah.
We all Bama boy. We all Bama boys. I like it.
We changed the podcast to Bama Boy. We already talked about this in our pre meeting, so that's
Bama Boy.
Be look out for that.
Yeah, so I was born in Huntsville, Alabama. My parents, they had like a decent relationship when I was young, but when I was about 6, they had a divorce, and so after that, I moved to Mobile, Alabama, and we stayed with my grandma for a little bit.
Mobile,
just my mom, me, and my brother, and so we stayed there until I was out of elementary school, and then I had my stepdad coming around a little bit. And I was like, "Who is this dude, man? I don't really like this man, bro. He sneaked this man, bro. He brought his dog around. I ain't never had a dog in my life, and so the dog
try to butter him up.
He won you over. He reeled you in.
So I got a puppy right here, man. You want to pet it?
Nice little puppy.
He used to bring the PlayStation around, bro. He used to play the game all day.
Smart. He's smart.
Yeah.
He got you with that game. That was really
smart.
And then after a couple years, I think I was about 11, and then we moved to Pensacola, Florida. And he was the main reason why I got into playing football, because I think I was a kid. I mean, I always thought like, oh, it's a tough sport. I don't want to do that. My mom was always like, I don't want you to get hurt. But he got me into playing football. He was the coach of the team in my little league team, so he was always tough on me.
I hope he was a starter.
I definitely was not, bro.
He was the coach. He was start. Oh my!
The only way I started, because I played offensive line, I was center.
Oh yeah. I think everybody's played O line when they play like Pop Warner.
I was a little fat kid, bro.
Yeah. Left tackle, man. The first time I went out, what the hell?
I was playing center and guard.
Center and guard. I think I played tackle like you, Trail tackle.
Yeah. And so, I was really fun. He taught me a lot about, self-discipline and always putting God first and everything like that. And throughout my high school years, I played 3 sports. I played basketball, football, and track. And
was an athlete. You was an athlete, huh?
Yeah, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, that's only answer.
I like it.
So, playing football really shaped my life a lot. Even though it was just my high school career, it really shaped me a lot as a leader and who I wanted to be as a man. And I guess just being around, the brotherhood of it, just being around people who all got a common goal, want to go out and win. So yeah, I'll touch on this. I'll say my best game my senior year.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you that question.
We played Choctaw. I already had like 3 sacks and 2 fumble recoveries.
Yeah.
And in the fourth quarter, we wouldn't score no points. It was like 35-37, and we were up by 2 points. And I think it was like probably like 4 minutes left. And I think I had 4 sacks like back to back. So yeah, I was
What's that?
It was unblockable, man.
They weren't black. They just let you walk right by.
Exactly. Get you another one, man. They helping you. They push you towards the quarterback.
That DJ Khaled. Another one.
Listen, every time. Another one by Sam. Another sack, man. That's crazy. You had 6 sacks that game?
I think I had like 7.
Golly, man. I wish I could have a game like that. You can tell me that after that. I'm like, Coach, but I ain't practicing next week. I said, word to me, man. I got 7. Coach, you like, I got 7 seconds. You can't say word to me. I ain't running no more. I ain't doing no extra laps. I'm good, man.
Yeah. I'm going to school the next day either, so.
Exactly. Mama, I got 7 seconds. Leave me alone. Yeah. I'm staying in it.
So yeah, throughout my high school career, football really shaped me. I think when I was in middle school, one of my best friends passed away. He was like the first friend I made when I moved to Pensacola. I think that death really kind of shaped me and like, really having a why in life and like, I feel like at a young age, it kind of shaped me more in a manner of just like, I didn't really let a lot of stuff like break me. I feel like it kind of hardened me a lot. So, going through high school, I graduated, class of 2020. And growing up, I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with my mom because she was working a lot. And so when I graduated, it was a COVID year too. So
I was going to ask you about that. You said 2020. I was like, that's COVID year.
Yeah, man. My mom didn't even really want me to go to campus, so she was like, "You should come up to California, just spend the year that you have online, spending time with her." Yeah. And so my stepdad, we got into it a little bit, and he was like, "You can go ahead and stay out there." So I spent my year out there. We got really close. It was really just work in school, man. It was pretty rough. Still looking back on it now, like I probably should have worked a different job, not working at UPS. But it is what it is. I feel like it kind of shaped me and hardened me a lot more.
Yeah.
And after that year, I moved down to Jacksonville. Okay. I started taking like in-person classes and everything. And then I think my sophomore year of high school, one of my it was a girl I grew up with. I was supposed to go to Sanford because I was trying to walk on and play football there because my mom, she got her doctorate there for nursing. And she got into a head-on collision car accident. Driver, she passed away. And that really kind of like threw me off. I was really struggling, kind of keep it all together. And I think, I always try to like work out now and like always like not try to be like I don't want to say a soft person, but always like try to like there's something bigger than me that I'm fighting for. So as I kind of go through life, always keep that in mind. And I think, that's pretty much about all for me. I'm still kind of in my junior year now, like taking classes and everything. So, yeah.
Definitely. So what school are you currently at, Sam?
Yeah, I'm at the University of North Florida.
Okay, North Florida. Definitely. What's your major? What are you majoring in again?
Yeah, I'm majoring in molecular biology with a concentration in biotechnology.
Okay, cool. Definitely. Boy, when you said that, I was like, oh, okay. I had to grab a dictionary.
What the heck? Molecular biology. Okay, I got you. Let me Google that right quick.
I really just say like science or like health sciences.
Definitely. So like you guys said, like that football really, like you said, Sam, that football shaped your life. It gave you that foundation. It allows you to kind of to learn the values that that brotherhood, things like that. But then I also like that. I like the piece that you said, Sam, when you were talking about bigger than life, basically like bigger than life, right? Being able to be inspired by like loss, by losing someone, being able to use that as motivation. And that's big with the South, which is being able to use something as motivation and being able to do that for them. Definitely when you said your friend from middle school, have a similar story to that as well. I lost one of my teammates my 8th grade year. He was on my football team. I lost him in 9th grade, but he passed away of cancer. And to think about, like, to see him as that kid and see that, that's who you saw him as, and then to lose him, like, you have to definitely have to work hard for them, right? You have to work hard for him and live out his dreams, And definitely I think that's a big piece, is being able to, be inspired and being able to move forward, but also, do it for the right reason. And, that's the goal,
It's crazy, so man, that you dealt with so much loss at such a young age, man. But you still like you said, it made you see the bigger picture in life. Like it didn't like, break you mentally. It kind of like helped forge you, it helped push you forward. You know what I mean? And yeah, I couldn't imagine losing like people like that in your life. It's like in high school and like early college, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely resilient.
Yeah, it kind of matured me a lot. And just kind of like, sometimes I hang around people that we go to school together, and it's always like, yeah, like I don't know, my parents don't necessarily like. I don't. It's kind of when I turned 18, my stepdad was pretty much saying like, you got to be an adult now. You got to grow up. Yeah. So just working jobs, trying to like pay bills, and just always having like something else I got to worry about. It's kind of made me mature a lot, and always I think when kind of like makes it a little more like manageable is just knowing that like I'm fighting for something that's bigger than me. So yeah, it's always kind of like gave me a little bit of motivation.
That's good, man. That's good.
Definitely. Look, like you turned to a man earlier, right? You see, right when you graduate high school, to be able to take on responsibility at a younger age, turn to a man, a lot younger, and it definitely gives you that. It gives you that maturity. I know me and Trevor can definitely speak on that. It gives you that maturity. Definitely. So I'm gonna go into it and let our listeners know a little bit about myself. But definitely similar to you boys. I know y'all say y'all Bama boys. You know what I'm saying? We represent Bama boys. So what you gonna say, Trev?
No. You good. I was about to say we don't really rep Alabama. I don't, man. If you ask me where I'm from, I'll be like, man, I don't want to say Alabama.
Yeah. Hey, for the first time, I saw this lady today for the first time, and she had an Alabama sweatshirt on. I was like, "Oh, Roll Tide Roll." She's like, "Oh, Alabama." And I had to do it one time for the one time.
Yeah, I get tired of every time I say something from Alabama. Roll Tide or War Eagle? Like,
that's the question they ask you. Are you War Eagle?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Nah, I'm okay. But definitely. I know it's the same thing too. Like we're living in Florida. I remember when I lived in Florida, and I'm gonna go into it, but when I lived in Florida, it's like Florida. Is it Florida or Florida State, Sam, or is it Florida? Who is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Florida State. I can't really think of.
Yeah, I think it's either Florida or Florida State.
Nah, it's Florida State in Florida.
Yeah, that's the only rival I could really think about in Florida, like with Alabama and Auburn. That's very similar. And then they got some other things like that in the other states. Like North Carolina got North Carolina and NC State. I'm like, that's a nice little, nice little rivalry, but that's really not.
Duke, Wake Forest, they be going.
It's a basketball state. It's not a football state, So
we don't have anything in Nashville because Vandy, they always been trash. They always will be trash. Yeah. So they don't have any rivals.
Who's Vanderbilt's rival? Was it Missouri?
They don't have a rival. They just get their ass kicked every game. That's all.
Baseball, y'all are tough though.
Oh yeah, they legit at baseball, man. They kind of good at basketball as well, but football, I just don't get it. You know what I mean? They got a lot of talent here around the area. They just don't go to Vandy.
Yeah. Vandy's an academic school. It's an academic school.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Hopefully athletics will be good one day. But yeah, definitely. So tell listeners a little bit about myself. So I lived in Florida. I lived in Alabama. So I went to five different elementary schools, 3 different middle schools, 2 different high schools. And then when I tell people that, they're like, what? Really? And I've lived in, like I said, I lived in Alabama from Mobile. I lived in the dot with my boy Trail. We lived in the dot, went to high school in the dot. I also went to high school in Mississippi. People, when I say Mississippi, like Mississippi. Yeah, I went to high school in Oxford, Mississippi for 2 years, 19th grade year. And also lived in Vero Beach, Florida, Sam. I don't know if I told you that, but I lived in Vero Beach, Florida as well.
That man's just been everywhere.
Yeah, so I've been a little bit everywhere, Sam. Trail says, he's like, your family was military? Now, my mom just like to move a lot. That's why I feel.
That's what I thought. I was like, here, man, I look pretty. I used to, like that. Yeah.
My mom used to like to move a lot. So, like, similar to you guys, just grew up in a single parent home. It was me, my mom, my 2 brothers. And, we was really tight. Family was really tight, and we still are tight. And so with us, being so close together, like, my mom always made sacrifices for us. So if we had to move somewhere to give me and my brothers opportunity, she would do that in a heartbeat. So that's why we moved so much. That's why I lived in Oxford, because my brother had played 2 years at Ole Miss. And so she was like, we got to move to Oxford, Mississippi, my 8th grade year. I was like, Oxford, Mississippi? What's that? And so we moved there. And then my sophomore year, going to the end of my sophomore year, she got married, and we decided to move to Dothan, the dot, peanut capital of the world. We moved there, and that's actually where I met Trail in Dothan. Yeah. I was like, we made sure at CC's Pizza. Definitely. We was at a football camp. And You remember that trail?
I was about to say, man, it was so weird how we met up. This is an awkward situation. Like, we just sitting, because he was new to the team, he was sitting by himself.
Yeah.
And I saw him sitting over there, like, man, I'm sitting right here. And so we started eating, and then we started talking to each other, and then it went from there. Like, it's just one of those random meetings you have.
Definitely. So, like, being able to just grow up and go to all these different places, it allowed me to kind of just, see that there was other things out there in life. And so for me, I was able to just meet a wide variety of different people from different backgrounds and just different friends. But also growing up, and moving a lot in a single parent home, it really made me want to work, hard. It made me want to be able to get that, that dream, like you said, get that dream house or that dream car for my mother, for my mom. And so basically living that way, it made me just like work 10 times harder. And got this crazy story. So when I was in middle school, I know y'all was talking about football. And so when I was at Pop One, your boy was trash. That wasn't me. I went out there one day. My brother was like, bro, go out there. They threw me out there, and they gave me number 67. I said, bro, I'm not playing football ever again in my life.
Ugly number, man.
and so it was crazy because so I was like, I'm not gonna play ever again. And so like 6th grade, I was just playing pickup football, and then 6th grade, my bro had went to like a football camp, and I had like a family friend. We were at the camp, and I told him, I said, either I'm gonna play for Louisville or I'm gonna play against Louisville. And it's crazy that I actually played against Louisville 4 years. But that was kind of like my story. And the crazy thing about it, man, was from there, it gave me that dedication, be determined. Because like when I was younger, I was getting in trouble all the time. But after I said that, something switched in me. Like I had that switch. I know that word switch.
There you go.
It was the word.
Throw it in there, man. Keep throwing it in there. Every chance you get.
And so basically, that's what it was for me, to be able to have that switch and to be able to do that and just work towards my dream. And then another piece that just growing up was just, like I said, single parent home. And we at one point in my life, like me and my family, like we were homeless. We all lived with my mom's friend for like a couple of months. It was me, my brothers, my 2 brothers, and my mom. We all stayed in one room. And it to this day, I didn't even realize, how it was, because we had like college football. We had the game college football. So we ain't never pay attention to it. But, as you get older, you look and you look back and reflect. I'm like, wow, like we really did that. But that's what really motivated me to keep moving forward. So that's a little bit about my childhood. And so definitely example of that football, like y'all said, I can't think of my the best game. I can't think of one.
Man, so many, man. You'll see you balled out, man. Then you had the game in Wake. I remember it was on ESPN, man. Yeah. I was like, I think somebody from home, I think Malik or somebody from home hit me up like, yo, you see Julian? We did against I forget who y'all was playing, but I'm like, so I looked up, man, on front page of ESPN. They had like 2 or 3 sacks or something.
It was 3 sacks. It was 3.
Yeah, I remember. That's crazy.
It was my redshirt junior year at Wake. I had 3 sacks in one game. I had a forced fumble to win the game. And it's crazy. I tell people all the time, I played 7 snaps that game. I had 5 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble.
Your coach was a beast, man. I don't think he ever told you. He's a beast, man. You got to see his highlight film senior year, man. That's how you got that full ride to wait, bro. He balled out.
Hey, Trev, make sure they don't watch junior year. Your boy put look, on the video, I had like I tackled somebody. I jumped on the tackle and I put it on highlight.
Oh, man.
I had a total of like 4 or 5 tackles junior year. And so, so that was like a little bit about my upbringing, and everything like that. So definitely excited to just let our listeners know a little bit more about us. So we're gonna just hop into this next thing, right? So our listeners are able to have a little bit more information about our backstory, about who we are. Now we want to tell our listeners a little bit about, what we are interested in, what we're passionate about, our career paths, and what area are we moving? What area are we moving forward in right now? So okay. Definitely, I'm gonna start with you first, Trev. I'm gonna start with you first, Sam. Tell me area of interest. Like, what are you interested in? I know you told me earlier about that science. You got to tell me one more time when you said what's your major again?
Yeah, so it was molecular biology.
You got to write that down, Trev.
I've always been passionate about medicine and science at a young age, I was always been around the hospital, being that my mom's a nurse.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we never really had a babysitter all the time, so sometimes we would have to, be at the hospital for a couple shifts, just so my mom didn't have to worry about, always having to pay a babysitter to watch us. And when I was at the hospital, I would kind of walk around and try to pick different doctors' brains. And there's this one doctor, Dr. Parker. He worked in the ICU, and I would always ask him questions, and he always really inspired me, to what path I really want to go through. And I just already being passionate about medicine, and just having that reassuring figure, always telling me like, yeah, this is something that I can do. I owe a lot of credit to him. Were you going to say something?
No, you definitely had a hands-on experience. I love that you had a hands-on experience at a young age. You say you're picking his brain. This is a grown man. You're like a kid. I like that.
Yeah, so it was exactly like that. I think another thing, I forget his name, but he was like a really famous blood doctor. And it was back in a time where, segregation, black people still fighting for rights out in the 60s. And his research was really valuable. And I think he got in a car accident, and they brought him to a hospital, and they just left him outside to bleed out and die, essentially. And I think I did a project on him when I was in elementary school. I was like, dang, bro, it's so inspiring just to see, somebody that looks like me, accomplishing something that just seems like it's so out of reach. And, growing up, I never really had an issue with like kind of figuring out where I wanted to go in life. I always just had like just a niche, or just like a little niche for wanting to go through medicine. And so, in high school, it was the first time I ever got any sort of like kind of backlash. I'm like, dang, like maybe I can't do what I say.
There's always a time that happens. You're like, you second guess yourself, like, I don't know. Yeah.
And I guess looking back now, I was like, I'm really grateful. I don't want to say grateful, but it's kind of weird that the way it happened, just something. Maybe.
Can you share that with our listeners? Could you share that with us?
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of time, it probably would have happened a lot younger, but the way it kind of set up for me, I was at practice one day, and one of my friends was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna go do this and that." And he was like super smart, like it was no question like about his ability. And I was like, "Yeah, I want to be a doctor too. I want to go to medical school." And everybody just kind of took a second and looked at me, and it was like, I was like, "Oh wait, like that wasn't."
Am I saying the wrong thing?
I was like, "Oh, is this not like possible?" I think that was the first time I ever sat back and kind of like looked at myself or looked in the mirror and was like, dang, like, can I actually do this? And I think you just kind of going through life and just constantly always like overcoming challenges and like having the support of my family, and especially my mom. She definitely supported me a lot through this journey, and she still is now. Just always kind of encouraged me and telling me that like I can do this, and it's always been a part of me and something that I'm passionate about. And so that's pretty much how that went.
What about let me ask you a question. So with your mom, you say your mom was being a nurse, like as you grew up and stuff. Now that you're taking the courses that you're taking and you majoring what you're majoring in, do you ever like reach out to your mom and say, "Hey, mom, can you like help me with like this biology question?"
Yeah, all the time.
Like, I like that.
So when she was getting her doctorate at Sanford, I would always ask her questions. I think that the course she was taking was primarily just like a huge paper that you write over the courses of the semester. And it's always kind of funny because it's a great thing, but I can never complain to her about how tough life is because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working this job, I'm doing school. She had me and my brother, and she was working 3 jobs in like a master's course. And now when she got a doctorate, she was doing a doctorate course and then working 2 full-time jobs and taking care of me and my brother.
She's a prime example. She's
about to say, man, that's probably why you are how you are, man. You had that role model in your life with your mom. That's a grinder. That's what your mom is, man. Not too many people could do that. Like that's crazy that you had that experience example already for you like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty like when I was a kid. I always looked up, whatever, like that's normal. Who cares really? I look back, like, it's really astonishing. Like, I really don't know, like, how she did what she did. Like, being in a position she was, like, a single black mother, in the society that we are in today, and doing all the things she did, it's really inspiring me. It still inspires me today, and, like, I can't whine or, moan about anything. Like, I got to just go get it done.
She was focused, man. Your mom was focused. That once you get that, like, once you flip that switch, man. See, I threw it in there. Once you flip that switch, man, you locked in, man. You locked in. Like, nothing's going to deter you from doing that. So if you got to work 3 jobs, you got to go to night school, you got to do this and that. Like, it don't matter. You locked in. You know, you trying to get to where you going.
Definitely, Sam. Like, so let me ask you. So I know you told me your major and everything. You told me what you're interested in. How do you stay up to date on your interests? Like, how do you stay up to date on what's currently going on in the medical field or in health?
Oh yeah, so like my job is a big reason like how I stay up to date. I'm scribing at an orthopedics clinic here in Jacksonville. Yeah. And all the time, all the doctors are constantly doing research, and I go and read articles that they write and everything like that. And essentially, I read a lot of articles on spine care. I think that's kind of one thing I've been researching a lot more about. And another doctor I'm working with, he's always telling me about I think his name is David Sinclair. He wrote a book about gene mutations, and different studies done on them. And I think that's kind of always been eye opening because I do a lot of stuff in the classroom. I do lab work, but you kind of apply it a lot. But just actually seeing it in action and just the process, folding proteins and kind of through that process, you can discover how different viruses form. And I think through that book and through, doctors, on a daily basis, I can really see how the stuff I'm learning in the classroom kind of applies to at MRI reports or,
everyday life type stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
What about, when you were talking about your story earlier, you were talking about when you told your teammates, or I think you said your teammates or classmates about, that you wanted to be, a doctor, and they, they looked at you like, what? It reminded me of, I don't know if you ever seen Ben Carson. I think he's a surgeon. He's a
special hands or magical hands, something like that. I can't remember.
They call it gifted hands. They call it gifted hands. The name of the movie.
I was like,
they magical. They gifted.
Exactly.
He was the first surgeon. I think it was. Do you know what type of surgeon he was, Sam?
Yeah, I think the surgery he's mainly known for is separating two conjoined twins.
Okay, was it a neurosurgeon?
Yeah, I think either a neurosurgeon or primarily neurosurgeon.
Okay, definitely. But I just here's his story of being able to coming from basically. If you guys don't know about Ben Carson, definitely watch Gifted Hands. But basically in that that movie, he was constantly getting in trouble as a kid. I think he was living in poverty, and then as time went on, he became one of the best surgeons, in the world during that time. And I think he actually ran as a black man. And he actually ran for politician a couple years ago. But I can't really remember anything about that. But definitely, just being able to see that.
We don't keep up with politics here, man. It's not.
Definitely. So make sure you guys tap into that. So Sam, I have one more question for you. So you said that you're currently doing scribing, you're currently in school, and you're doing research. Is there any other thing that you do outside of that, as far as just picking? I know you might be picking your mom's brain all the time, ask her questions all about Is there anyone else that that you currently work with scribing that you kind of pick their brain as well?
Yeah, the physician assistants I work with, them, the nurse practitioners and the doctors. I always ask questions, and not even so much about medicine. I guess more the process, how the student loans work, or if military would be a good option, or and I was asking one of the PAs today or a couple of days ago. I was asking about if he what were his thoughts on the student loan forgiveness thing, and he was telling me this whole long story about inflation rates and everything like that. And although he didn't necessarily agree with it, he is going to take advantage of it. And I think that it was really just insightful because I don't know. I think I was kind of stuck in a box. I don't want to be in debt. I have to go in the military. There's other ways to kind of go about it. And it was just really insightful. Just asking questions just on the process.
Not
so much about medicine in general.
Okay, nice.
Definitely. I love how you say just asking those questions. If the listeners don't take anything from tonight, make sure you ask those questions, have those conversations where you can learn from them. If it could be someone learn about what they're currently doing, or if it's just learn about what pathways you can take to figure out, you know, what pathway is best for you. Or you can even ask them for, you know, for their advice of which pathway is best to take. Because a lot of us have stories, and a lot of us, you know, when we do something right, and we're like, you know, like, I wish I can go back and do this again. But we can't, but we can actually help someone else, you know, with that. Like, you'd be like, well, I wanted to go and do this schooling, but I should have did this, but I could have took an easier route or a quicker route. And you should take this quicker route because you don't have to do all this schooling and do all this instead. You see that type of thing. So those conversations.
A lot of people want to help you with that, and a lot of people are eager to give advice. You know, a lot of people are like, oh man, I don't want to bother them. I want them, like, you know, they might not, you know, be too busy to talk. A lot of people would like to have those conversations because they want to see other people succeed. And like Julian said, they want you to learn from their mistakes, so you won't make the same mistakes going forward. So, like you said, always ask questions, man. A closed mouth don't get fed. Like, I always try to remember that. Like,
definitely,
I got something I'm interested in. I meet somebody that, you know, is an expert or knows very knowledgeable about that subject. I try to ask them questions, pick their brain a little bit.
Yeah,
I think one thing I kind of grew up with, like my stepdad, you know, he was constantly telling me like, "Oh, you're young, you don't know anything." But I think as I get older, the way I kind of interpret it more as just like, I kind of ask more generic questions just for the simple fact that, like, you never really know, like, how somebody else's brain is going to work in the process that they take to go through something. Like, it always might be a little something you don't know. And I feel like sometimes it might just be better, like just me now, like, I feel like some people might see it as mansplaining or, like, talking in a condescending manner, but I always just try to, like, always find a little thing like I don't know and try to interpret it and or just apply it to my life. If they're giving me like I don't want to say a lecture, but it's like talking to me about something that I may already know about, but you know, I don't know that per se. So
that's good. Yeah.
And they definitely, like, people love, like, I don't know if you guys know, if the listeners know, but people love sharing their story. People love talking about themselves. Yeah. So you give them an opportunity to talk about themselves, they gonna hop on it.
Take advantage of that.
Definitely. So we definitely love that, Sam. Like I said, that's great to hear more about what you're interested in. If you guys are interested in the medical field, if you guys are interested in, you know, in health, make sure that you pick, you know, like Sam said, pick their brains, you know, start taking those steps you need to take, you know, to learn as much as possible. Like, if you're in school or if you're in middle school, high school, or even, you know, you're an adult and you want to switch career paths, start, you know, take that next step and ask questions, you know?
Yeah, and just one more thing to add on to that. I feel like one thing that, like, if you're in a major that, you know, it may take a little longer than everybody else, you might have to get, like, your bachelor's and then go get a master's and make it a doctorate. I feel like it's always something to keep in mind. Like, you can't always give into, like, the instant gratification of life. Just, you know, on social media, there's always, like, some new way to, like, you know, get money really quick, or just always some
quick things.
Yeah, there's always some distraction out there that's trying to steer you off the path. And I feel like always, like, keeping yourself grounded and staying focused and knowing, like, why you're doing something. And I think that's why you need a why, like, just for the distraction in life. And that's pretty much that's
I like that, man. Your why is basically like your GPS navigation. Like, you never forget where you're going. You may get, you know, sidetracked, you might take the wrong turn, the wrong exit, but eventually, if you got that GPS navigation still going to the right coordinates, you're going to make it there. It might take you longer, but eventually you get there.
Rerouting. It's going to take rerouting.
It's not the road. It happens all the time. I miss my ex all the time because I get distracted.
Yeah. I know y'all definitely get rerouted in Tennessee and Nashville, all that traffic.
Oh, yeah, the traffic is crazier, man.
Yeah. Definitely.
Close to Gatlinburg, you know?
Gatlinburg is like 3 hours, 2.5 hours from there. So it's not far, but like it's not something you just, you know, you want to drive there, you know, on a day trip or something. It got to be like a weekend thing, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But definitely. So, like, definitely love what you said with our listeners, Sam. So I'm gonna ask you the same question, Trell. I'm gonna come to you, and so what is your area of interest? Like, what are you interested in? And can you tell listeners a little bit more about it?
Man, so my area of interest, so it's kind of like, you know, Sam, those interests are basically focused on the body, like your physical, like, you know, body, and being a doctor and help people in that way. And my interest is more focused on the mind. So mental health is something I really got big into, especially as I gotten older. At first, you know, I right now I'm in law enforcement right now anyway, but that law enforcement was like my main thing. I got my degree in criminal justice and all this stuff, and I really want to be a cop and stuff like that. But as I gotten older, man, and really starting to see like, my main thing was helping people. So when I got older, I really started to see like what issues and what things really plaguing us as a society, us as a nation, us as young men, African American men. Like what's some things that we deal with? What are some things that I deal with? And as I got older, man, I started having my own struggles, my mental health, and I had to start getting help with that and talking to people about that and stuff like that. I started to realize, like, man, it's a really big issue going on right now, man. A lot of people, mental health is not good. You know what I mean? Like, we see more now being talked about. You have, like, a lot of ads and stuff talking about depression, anxiety, stuff like that. But still, it's like, I feel like we could do more, and it still could be a lot more done in that area because it's so new. Like, it's just recently been starting to talk about mental health. Like, it's not been like when I was younger. Like, you were sad. Like, when you had depression, people was like, "You just sad." Nobody really talked about it. It wasn't like a thing. Like, I didn't know what anxiety was till like a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear that till I got older.
Exactly. It wasn't really talked about, but like people still deal with this stuff. It was there. It's not like, things just came about a couple years ago, but people didn't talk about it. We wasn't knowledgeable about those things. You know what I mean? So it's still a very new thing, a topic to explore and talk about. But I feel like, it's a need though. It's a need in the society for people to really, focus on that, man. Because you can do everything for your body. You do everything for your wallet, all that stuff. You be in good shape and all that crap, But if your mental health is not right, nothing's gonna be right. Like your mind is not right. Your mind leads your body, man. So if your mind is not good and your mind is not healthy, like you're not healthy. I don't care how good your blood pressure is. I don't care how good your glucose level is and all that stuff. I don't care how fit you are. If your mind is effed up, you are effed up. And I had to come to realization of that too myself, man. I had to start doing some things and really trying to hone in and kind of fix and correct some of my own mental deficiencies and weaknesses, man, and really start to improve my own mental health. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really understand that portion of it, man. But this is a big thing, and especially in like the lower, like the poor and lower income communities, man. Like they don't have access to go to a therapist. Like therapy is really expensive. Like I know there's a lot of therapy, some therapists out there you might get for like maybe $40-$50 a session, but you're not going to get everything you need in 1 or 2 sessions, man. You need multiple sessions to really hone in and really start to break down like the reason why you had those issues, the reason why you had that way of thinking. You know what I mean? So you really need time to really spend time with that therapist. That takes a lot of sessions. That takes a lot of money. A lot of people got bread like that. A lot of people don't have the disposable income to be like, you know what, I can drop $300, $400, $500 a month for a therapy session. Like, no, I got bills to pay. I got mouths to feed. I got a car note. Like, people don't have the money like that. But you still got to do things to help with your mental health. So one of my goals is, I'm going to school next year to get my master's in clinical mental health counseling. And one of my goals is eventually open my own practice, man, for lower income people to really help them be able to get that help they need, to get that type of therapy that's going to help them be able to be better people and better functional human beings in society. So they might eventually have less crime. You know what I mean? Have less things. One of the main reasons people do stuff like that, crime and stuff, because, I think I'm getting off topic now, but one of the main reasons people do that stuff, like I work in a jail, like you see a lot of people there with mental health issues and just like a lot of anger, animosity, because they don't really understand, like, how to deal with that type of stuff. And their mental health is not right. I feel like we do a lot more, like, communities giving them help with that stuff, bro. They help a lot with, just young men killing each other and robbing and shooting and stuff. Like, it can really help. Like, you got somebody to talk to, like, man, like, my dad passed. He got killed when I was a kid. That's really effing me up. I didn't talk about that to somebody. But, it's exactly, conversations need to be had. And as men, we don't like to have those conversations. But I want to create a practice where, like, I can allow people to, really be able to express themselves and really feel comfortable, man. And I don't know. It's just, I feel like I got off topic, but that's something my end goal and all this stuff, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you. So I like how you said like mental health wasn't talked about a lot when we were kids, and now that as time goes on, they're talking more about it, but it's still something that's still, like you said, like before, like for men especially, like not being able to, express themselves, not being able to, like, be like, yeah, I need help, or being able to be open, right, or be able to be vulnerable. And And then the other piece you said of being able to provide, mental health, be able to provide mental health counseling for those who live in poverty, is definitely like those things right there is just, and those things right there can really make a big difference, not only for males, but also for like not only for the individual you're getting counseling for, but also for the families as well. So I definitely agree with you on that. And then like just like you said before, being able to have those conversations with those individuals who are in those spaces, and and like you said, being able to like hear them talk to you, and they're saying, if something would have happened sooner, you know what I'm saying? If something would have happened sooner when they were 5 years old, to be able to, express themselves and say what's bothering them. And so being able to, for them to have that anger over time because not being able to afford, not being able to afford counseling, or not just being able to have someone there to actually listen to them, because most times people just want somebody to listen to them,
Yeah, you're right, man. And it's so crazy. Like what really breaks my heart the most, man, like when I hear people like commit suicide and stuff, and they always say, like, you hear a lot of times, like, man, like their friends, like, damn, I wish I would have known they was going through this, or damn, I wish, I wish they could have reached out and let me know what was happening. A lot of times, when you're in that situation, it's hard to talk to your close friends, family members about that because it's just something really personal. And you want to be seen as weak. I know I felt through the same thing. You don't want to be seen as weak. You don't want to be seen as this person, this weird person that's going through this thing. But like therapy be a good space for people to really, talk to somebody that has knowledge about this, that's really understanding about what you're going through and dealing with. You know what I mean? And can really help you get through that. So that's one of the biggest things I want to help people. I want to help people, be better versions of themselves, get through their past traumas, man, and move forward in life.
Yeah, definitely. Like we all are human beings. You know what I'm saying? We all are human beings. We all go through similar things. We all go through similar things. So being able to have that, communication, have that, being able to be there for someone and understand and explain to that person, who's going through, hard times, and say like, I went through the same exact thing. So I understand how you feel. And we're going to get through it together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be here to listen to you. We always say that active listener, right? I'm going to be an active listener. I'm going to actually listen to you. I'm going to actually be there for you to really make a big difference, in someone's life. So I definitely salute you on that mental health piece, Trail. And I definitely going to get that master's. You're going to speak into existence. You definitely going to get that master's. You're going to open up that practice. And you're gonna change so many lives, and I definitely look forward to being right next to you and seeing it happen.
Yes, sir.
So definitely make an impact in that community, and definitely make you'll change so many lives. And like I said before, if you change their life, then you're gonna change their family's life as well. So definitely salute to you on that. So I got a question for you, Trail. So you were saying, tell me about your goal as far as with mental health and your end goal. Can you share with our listeners what are some things that you do to keep up with mental health? Like what are some things you do to keep up with mental health?
I guess for me, I don't do like any like major research on anything. I just basically like so I still have my own mental health issues. So I always kind of try to research like the things I'm dealing with and stuff like that. So I have anxiety. So I take like, certain anxiety medications for that. So I always try to research and on stuff like that and see like, different ways to combat, anxiety and depression and things of that nature and stuff like that. So it's not like I do like any like hard, like major, scholar research or anything of that nature, man. There's a lot of Google searches, bro. It's just like in my mind, I'll be chilling late at night, like, man, like, I wonder like, what are some different ways to combat depression or this type of anxiety or this type of this and that mental health issue, things of that nature.
Definitely. I definitely completely understand. Like you said, you said anxiety. It's so many. I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends a couple of hours ago before I actually did the podcast. And we actually were talking about just anxiety and how it can really, we all deal with it. And that how can we overcome that anxiety, right? Because it's something that people don't speak about, right? So definitely being able to learn more about that. And I love how you said you put like, like talk about like yourself, being able to say, okay, like I have my own mental health. I want to, figure out how I can best understand myself so I could best help others. So I definitely salute you on that. And then I have one more question for you, Trill. I just got one more question for our listeners. Is there currently someone that inspires you to do mental health, or is it someone that is it kind of someone that you kind of look up to in that space?
I would say it's not necessarily somebody I look up to in that space. Okay. I feel like, I don't know. Like, I remember you had brought this up. I'm like, man, I've been thinking about this since we talked about, this topic the other day. I'm like, man, I don't really have anybody that inspires me to do this. I guess my own just journey. That's what inspires me. Like, I love seeing my own growth and my own betterment. That's what drives me to want to, pursue this. Yes. I feel like, damn, it's actually helping me. I can help other people like this. So
definitely, I definitely love you said that having that it's you being that inspiration for yourself to be able to inspire others. I just love that because for you to be that image of like someone who's has dealt with mental health before, and then showing that outcome of doing counseling, those things like that, really makes an impact. Because I always say, right, you can talk about all day, right, and somebody would rather, if I'm talking to someone, I would rather talk to someone who's been through it than talk to someone who's never been through it, right? Right. And so definitely for you to say, like, I've been through it, and I want to help those who are going through it, to let them know that I've done what you've done before, and I've been in your shoes before. And that definitely, that's really inspiration. I love it. I'm over here like, oh, definitely. So definitely. So we're going to, like I said, thank you, Trill, for letting our listeners know a little bit more about what you're interested in. So if you guys, like we said with the medical, if you're interested in mental health, definitely take that step to learn more about it. Make sure that your mental health is good. Always practice. I know at my job, they used to say, make sure you practice, with what you call a great work-life balance, or make sure that you're focused on your mental health. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and always, just show yourself grace and love yourself. Love yourself. You gotta love yourself.
Self-love, man. That is so important, man. You gotta love yourself. If you don't love yourself, well, nobody else can love you, man. The more you can love yourself. That's real, man.
Definitely. So I know y'all guys been talking pretty well. I love everything y'all saying. I've been talking about, the medical field, health, talk about mental health, and just the impact that it has on so many people's lives. And I think it's going to tie in perfect to, what I'm extremely interested in, and something I'm very passionate about, is education. I love it. It's the E word, education, And so for me, when I talk about education, what I'm interested in is not just education, it's education as a whole, but mainly in equity in education. And so equity means to give everybody equal opportunity, right? To meet every person where they're at. So every student where they're at. So meet them where they're at, so you'll be able to provide opportunity for them so that they can be successful, so that they can have that economic mobility for themselves and then for their futures, for their families in the future. So changing that, that generation, right? Being able to have that one generation be changed by education, and being able for them to go to college and be that first generation college student. So that's what I'm really interested in. So the question is, like, I know we talked about earlier, how did I become interested in this topic? For me, it started when I was in college. It started when I was in college, right? And so, I say equity in education. It really started with just equity. And it started when I was a senior in college. I don't know if I ever told y'all about this, but I was a senior in college, and this guy comes up to me. I'm standing campus apartments. You have like the shuttle that takes you to campus apartments. And this guy was like, "Hey, Julian, can I talk to you real quick?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, what's going on?" He's like, "Hey, can you can you help?" He's like, I go to this, I go to this neighborhood, and a lot of kids live in poverty, and I go there and I do like some things with them. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." He's like, "Could you set something up so you can talk to them about, the importance of education, the importance of education and playing sports and just, behavior and things like that." And I was like, I'm a senior in high school. I'm really ready to graduate because I'm waiting for May. I'm like, yo, it's almost graduation time. But I was like, yeah, I definitely do it. And so when I did it, I was like, I'm going to do it. And when I do it, I'm going to give it my all. And when I did it, it was actually I have this picture on my phone to this day. I created this football camp, right? Me and my teammates created this football camp. And we got this field, like we got this random field like on our campus, and like it's no football field, no college. It has nothing to do with our football, our athletic facilities at all. Got this random field on campus, and we told the guy to meet us at the field. We bought pizzas for the little guys, for the little players. They're like little boys. They were like in 5th grade. I mean, they were like in 3rd grade. Now they might be like in 10th grade now, something like that. But basically got those pizzas for them, and we just sat them down. We played football with them, talked to them, and we just told them the importance of education, the importance of doing the right thing. And when I say that equity piece is like, instead of being like, okay, we can't, I can't do this for y'all. I say, you know what? I'm gonna bring it to them, right? I'm gonna bring that to them. Since they may not be able to go to a college game or be able to even go to a college campus. I'm gonna bring that college campus. I'm gonna bring that college football player, that college football experience to them. And, it made a big impact in their life. And so for me, that's what really got me interested in being able to help the youth, but really being able to tell them the importance of education can really have on like your life. Because for me, when I look at the younger generation, I see myself. I put myself in their shoes. I see that young Julian Jackson, that receiver who I thought was gonna be a receiver before. I said young receiver, and and the kids. So basically, doing that, I just wanted to be able to give more, and so that's why I got interested in education. And so with that, like I said, I graduated from college. I got into education. Actually, I met Sam my first year teaching. And when I was teaching, I decided that I wanted to leave the classroom and see what else was out there. And I started working at a higher ed university. I started working at a university, and someone told me about this program called Gear Up, where I was able to it's basically stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs. And basically, it's a federally funded grant that provides basically start having students start thinking about post-secondary options. What is college? How does college look? How can they get to college? And the focus was really on just being able to provide opportunities for students who live in poverty. And just like myself, I grew up in poverty. So for me to be able to give back to them was like, would mean so much to me. And so that's right there. And so typically with that, how do I stay up to date on just being able to learn more about education and learn more about equity in education is being able to just read articles, being able to read different different articles on education and equity and higher education, equity in K-12. And so when I say equity in K-12, it's like, what are they currently doing within the school systems to provide access and opportunity for all students? So basically, what are they currently doing to meet with students where they are so that the students are going to be successful? Same thing in higher education. Higher education is very similar, but it's what are they doing in higher education to get students to come to college? So students who would typically not go to college because of the area that they live in, because they live in poverty, or because they're like first gen, what are colleges doing to grab those students and bringing them to institutions, right? And then that other piece too is what are they doing to keep them in the institutions, right? So what are they doing? What resources are they providing to that student to make sure that student stays at that college instead of that student like dropping out of college? Or what how are they helping that student who's first generation, who's never been to college before, who never even know what a college campus look like, or even don't even know how to talk to a professor, things like that. So that equity piece is doing that, being that support, making sure that they're successful. And then that last piece of that equity piece within higher education is being able to provide not only opportunities for them when they're in school and that support for them when they're in school, but being able to provide support for them when they leave college. So, right. So those who are first generation, being able to have opportunities for them and set them up for success right when they leave college. So basically like the program that, I currently work for is getting them early, setting them up for success early. And as they graduate college, have them for success. So basically they'll be able to have that economic mobility, once they graduate, right? So they come from living in poverty to being, middle class or high, upper class, but just being able to just basically the goal of education equity is to change the dynamics, change how their life will look, right? So come from this to something else, right? So that's the end goal, is being able to inspire and being able to just help change lives by using education. Education is the number one thing that you can use to help you elevate, in life, and being able to have that and being able to have that is to, get you, out of a place that you never thought you'd go because of education. I know for me, going to college, if it was for education, I wouldn't be where I'm at now,
Right.
Good problem. Could you guys attest to that?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Like knowledge is power, man. I feel like we don't understand, a lot of people don't really get that. Like the more you know, the more you can do.
Definitely.
So yeah, I know. Like when we were younger, like I know for me, books and reading wasn't like the coolest thing to do, man. But now as I got older, bro, I love reading. I love researching stuff, man, and really gaining more knowledge, man. So yeah, it's really cool that that's your passion, like to give people, young adults, that drive to be more, education driven and dive more into their scholarly type mind. You know what I mean? So that's cool, man.
Definitely. So being able to just, like I said, just growing, being able to grow and develop and being able to learn more that allow me to be able the best I can be to serve, students when it comes to education. It's just having those conversations of talking to those individuals, even have this conversation right now in this podcast of just talking about, the things that we're doing to help, generations to come, the things that we're doing to help, help us become, better individuals, right?
Exactly.
So constantly having those conversations. And then that last piece of just having someone in that space. I know you said earlier, Terrell, just having someone currently in that space. And for me, it's like having someone who actually is very passionate about it as well. It's one of my colleagues that I worked with actually in the school system as a teacher, and now we work for the same program together now, and being able to have those conversations with him of saying how much education can truly make a difference in the student's life, but also the family's life. So being able to not only reach that student, but also reach their family as well. And that's such a big thing, man. That's such a big thing. It really is.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. The cool thing about all our passions, man, they all pertain to helping people, man. I feel like it's all we trying to do, help people, man. Save lives, teach people how to read, educate them, and help people, with their mentals, man. So I feel like that's God put a calling on our lives to do that, bro. Like to help people. Now, that's what I feel like this podcast can do. So any viewers out there that's watching this, man, just understand, like, it's not only, helping us and a good thing for us, man. We also trying to do this to help other people too, man. Inspire other people as well to go out there and chase their dreams and passions too, man.
Definitely. So make sure that you just, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Just make sure that you chase what you're, passionate about. Make sure that you're, find someone you can pick their brain and get as much information from it as possible. Make sure you're doing that research. Make sure you focus on yourself. Make sure that you reflect and look into yourself and saying, how can I better myself so that I can help others? And then just, just be that best version of yourself and have that silent switch. Definitely have a silent switch and I say the big thing, find a mentor. Find somebody that will pour into you, and then you will return the favor and pour into someone else. So keep that going. Find that mentor. And
that's real.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely right there. So right here, we got that last question for you guys right here. And I know, Trey, you touched on it already because I know you were excited about it. You touched on it already. But that end goal, Trey, tell me a little more about that end goal. What's that end goal for you? What's your end goal? What's your end?
Man, my end goal is to make a lot of freaking money. No, I was playing. But no, for real. My end goal is to, like I said, help people, man. I want to be able to, give back to people. Like I had people in my life that, like you said, poured into me, man, and really helped pick me up when I was at my lowest, man. I was going through it, and I want to do the same for others. So that's my end goal. Just help people, man. I could do that. I feel like, I could reach and touch lives here and there, man, and really give back to the community, give back to people.
Definitely.
I'm happy, man.
Oh, yeah. All right. Same question for you, Sam. What's that end goal? What is your end goal? I love it.
Yeah, so essentially what my end goal would probably be to either, go in the military and like be a physician that way, or just kind of like go into like medical school and be a physician and just do all that I can to help people. Either make my own, probably have my own practice one day. But I think the thing that I'm really passionate about, I think God put this on my heart. I was at church and we talked a lot about sex trafficking and stuff like that, and how, you know, gruesome that process could be. And I feel like I would kind of want to kind of use what I learned, you know, kind of use like the opportunity I like probably would have gotten to be a physician, just to travel the world and honestly first like help my own community, but I really want to like kind of go into like different places in the world and like help underserved communities, either in India or Africa or something like that, and just try to like help as much as I can.
Definitely. I love it.
So what branch of military you think about going into?
So my uncle, he is actually a general in the Marines. He's always been like, you know, very Marines, like on the Marines. But probably,
I have a brother-in-law that's in the Marines.
Yeah, well, most likely it'll probably be the Air Force if I did go.
Okay, nice,
definitely. Yeah, I would really want to go into. I see a lot of physicians I talk to now. They did some form of like flight surgery or something like that. I really like just like honestly, I wouldn't mind kind of like being active duty and like triaging people. I would kind of like that, to be honest.
Okay,
that's nice.
Definitely, I like what you guys are saying. That just that end goal, being able to make an impact in so many lives, and being able to you know help your community, but then also spread that to even helping, like Sam said, like going to change the world. You know, the goal is to change the world, right? Make the world better. You know, today, I mean, make the world better. You know, make the world a better place. And so, yeah, definitely, right. And so so my end goal is similar to you guys' end goal. My end goal is to like just like impact my community. My end goal is to be able to, you know, help more students who live in poverty be first generation college students, so that they can change the generations of like the same thing, right? So be able to change how that looks for them, and being able to change not only their life but the lives of their family members as well, and be that, you know, that image of success for their family, so that their family know that they can do it just like the student is doing it.
Right.
And then that last piece, man, so like basically like make more students in higher education, more students in post-secondary ops, wherever that is. Most students, you know, help more students who live in poverty be successful at wherever they want to be successful at. That's my goal. Another goal for me is to, you know, once I do that, another goal for me is to, you know, be a president of a college one day, maybe, if God allows me. But then another piece also is so that I can impact as many lives as possible. And then another piece is I want to be able to help the community that I live in and be able to create a community center in an area that's, you know, in poverty, right? So being able to have a community center that allows them to have laptops and have all the resources that they need, so that so it won't be there won't be a gap, right? There'll be, everybody will have equal playing fields, and that once you put our students who live in poverty in the same playing field, oh, it's game on. Yeah,
definitely, man. Definitely, bro. Man, I really enjoyed this episode, man. It's cool to get to see you guys' passions, man. Like I didn't know Sam was like so. Like I didn't know you were like what really field you were in. I knew you was in medical field, but I didn't know like, you know, the type of degree you were pursuing and stuff like that, man. So it was cool to hear about that. Your journey too, man, from a young age, dealing with all the stuff you went through, how you got here, man. It was cool to see. And Julian, man, I know we always talk about your passion, man, for education, but it's cool for you to really just break that down in depth for everybody, man. It's just nice to see. It shows your generosity, man, the type of man you are, and you know your heart for helping people, man. So
definitely same for y'all, man. Like we trying to change the world. Like I said, we trying to change the world. We trying to help change lives for everybody, man. And so that's the goal, is to lead the earth a better place than when we came here, right? Leave it a better place. So definitely, that's really it right there.
Yeah.
So like I said, for those who just tapped into this first episode 2 of the podcast, make sure you guys follow your interests. Make sure that you ask questions. Make sure that you can have multiple interests. So don't think that you gotta have one interest. You can have multiple interests, and figure out, how that looks for you. Because every person has different interests. Every person has a story. Buy into your story. Be the best version of yourself and focus on you. Only you. Have that tunnel vision. Focus on you, because you're amazing. So make sure that you're doing that. And
flip the switch, man.
Flip the switch. Tell them flip the switch, man. Flip the switch. Make sure you flip the switch. Yeah, flip the switch. Make sure you got that silent switch. Make sure, look, make sure that you tell your friends, and then they tell their friends, and their other friends to tune into the podcast for episode 3.
Everybody, man. Let everybody know. We don't have a day of time, but we getting that. Make sure with us. But
make sure you guys subscribe, and make sure you guys like the video. And like I said before, make sure you have that silent switch. And hey, remember, what we say at the end of it, we say we what?
Oh, we all we got?
We all we got.
I mean, I feel like we should flip the switch at the end, man. That's all I'm saying, bro. We should keep saying
flip the switch. Flip the switch.
Flip the switch. I like it. Play with, I like it. That's our saying. And then I like it.
Yeah, but make sure you guys flip the switch. And hey, see you guys next week. Peace.
All right, man. Y'all take care, man. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.